Hi, before getting into this video, I recommend using the subtitles to better help you guys understand me. Hades released out of early access in 2020 to a score of 93, which is a must play on Metacritic. But 4 years later, and does it really deserve that status? Well, that's what I'm here to answer with this review. I'll be listing off the good, the bad, and a bit of my personal opinion. I was very surprised with the combat, as a lot of indie games and even some AA games struggle with the combat, whether that's the responsiveness of it or the variety to keep it exciting throughout the game. But that's not something Hades struggles with, as it has a really responsive and varied combat with different types of weapons and abilities to make it thrilling and fun. There are 6 weapons in the game, which you unlock the further you play, and each comes with a temporary buff that dramatically changes the moveset of your weapons. The abilities are another buff that you get in each run. The blessings from the god to help you with your run and gives you a bit of dialogue ranging from lore to personal information. All this with the stellar animation makes the whole combat one of the game's biggest selling points. The voice acting is beyond great in this game, and even though the actors are playing fictional characters with exaggerated personalities, each character still sounds grounded and real. You can see this in Hades himself, as how he delivers his lines in a whispery and quiet voice, especially when he's talking to other characters. Instead of being loud and putting on a show for the audience, the great voice acting also helps the game to cover for its lack of cutscenes, as most of the cutscenes are portrait drawings of characters talking, with very few having more than 1 or 2 drawings. Though at first there seems to be a decent amount of enemy variety, but as you play longer, you find out sadly that's not the case. With each death, the combat becomes more boring, as you end up having to fight the same 4 or 5 mobs in each level. And the other mobs that you see in the other levels are usually a reskin of the first level, with very little new types getting introduced. This not only takes away from the combat's fun factor, but is also a big negative point for a roguelike game, as the main point of a roguelike is replaying the game countless times. And to make it worse, there are 4 bosses in the game with 2 or 3 mini bosses. I understand there are 4 bosses in the game because of narrative reasons, but there is no excuse for not having more mini bosses. The story was one of the biggest highlights of the game, with most reviews and fans talking about how great it is, and how it's a story everyone should experience at least once in their life. But sadly, that's not something I agree with. There's barely a story, with the payoff and goals of the characters happening so late in the game that there isn't any time to flesh it out. The dialogue and voice acting hard carries the story, as the dialogue reacts to the gameplay choices you make, such as what abilities you pick and choose. With the stellar voice acting, people confuse these aspects with the main story of the game. It's a good game, but not something deserving of a 93 on Metacritic, with big faults such as the enemy variety and the story affects the game's enjoyment a lot. But if it's something you don't care about, then yeah, I'll recommend the game. They're on sale if possible. Thank you for watching this video. Leaving a like, comment and subscribing would mean a lot to me. Also, do let me know in any ways that I can improve my content.